Let's talk some good old fashioned baseball, Jared, because Oregon is having, by all accounts, a good year. Has not been perfect all the time, but they're inside the top 25 going into the series, which starts on Friday against Oregon State. And look, Stanford was probably the biggest test to date. They lost 2-3 down in the Bay Area. I don't know if they call their baseball field the farm like they do the football stadium. I feel like there's
So
another name
they
for it.
call it they call it the Sunken Diamond.
The
That's it,
Sunken Diamond, that's the one.
which
Yeah,
is
the
great.
Sunken Diamond. I don't know what goes into that. But anyway, Oregon State is up next. And obviously, this is a big rivalry game. The series will be taking, it's actually the first of 4 straight games against the Beavs because they're going to play a game on Tuesday as well, which is a weird scheduling thing to do. Typically, a Tuesday game is, a non-conference against a WCC has been the most common thing for Oregon to do. But you play 4 straight against top 10 team. If Oregon, certainly you want to avoid getting swept, but if they go 2-2 here, I'd feel pretty good about that.
I think you should. I think that this is a really good Oregon State team, just like it normally is. The last couple of seasons, Oregon State has certainly had Oregon's number, and the Stanford series was unfortunate. If you're Oregon, it's just a bad pitching display. They really haven't had one of those on a weekend series specifically in a while. Probably you go back to like late February, early March against UCSB. That was the last time where they really had a poor weekend series, but it happens. But the nice thing was that the offenses seemed to be like firing on all cylinders. They put up over 10 runs against Gonzaga in the midweek. They hit 10 total home runs. I know that they lost 19-7 in the first game, but they still put up 7 runs. They put up 17 runs the next day. They put up another 7 runs on Sunday. Like these are positive signs. And then they threw up 7 runs against San Francisco on the Monday, which is another weird midweek game on a Monday. But Oregon State, their one struggle this year has been their pitching staff. And that pitching staff struggled against Cal, where Oregon State was swept for the first time this year. But you always have to watch out for their bats. I mean, this Oregon State offense is just incredible. It's a joy to watch. I'm very excited to go there and just watch potentially Oregon State hitters just mash some baseballs because, guys like Travis Bazzana,
Bazzana is, for those who don't know, Bazzana had a streak earlier this year in which he hit a leadoff home run in, what was it, 6 consecutive games?
6 or 7, either or is ridiculous.
No, not 6 or 7 straight games with a home run. 6 or 7 straight games where he comes up for his first at bat and just goes deep. And he's the leadoff hitter. I would throw him 3 straight curveballs in the dirt and say, I dare you to swing. If I am any one of Grayson Grinsell or RJ Gordon or Kevin Sider, those are Oregon's projected starters for the weekend as usual. And they've had their ups and downs. I think they've done a nice job, though, as you talked about the last time you were on the show and we were talking baseball. I think they've been better than last year. I don't think they've hit their ceiling yet, but I think they've done a good job delivering a lot of quality starts. There was a complete game 2-run performance from, I think it might have been Sider the other day.
Ian Umlaut.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, one of your midweek starters against San Francisco there. Those sorts of games just haven't happened a lot. And I think the bullpen has been really, really solid with Logan Mercado on the back end, who's up for a midseason reliever award at this point in college baseball. So I like what I've seen there. They've got to be careful with Bazzana, but the rest of that Oregon State lineup as well.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's easy to go and look at the Stanford weekend and say that the pitching staff just hasn't improved, and this is just like how it was last year. Yeah, but that was every weekend last year. A lot of people did not. I don't want to toot my own horn here. Not a lot of people watched as many baseball games as I have of Oregon baseball over the last 2 seasons. So I'm very well aware that the pitching staff was A, bad this weekend, and B, bad last season. But this year, it's just been night and day. RJ Gordon went on a run before his Stanford start of 4 straight games with 2 or fewer earned runs and at least 5 2/3 or 6 innings pitched. That didn't happen last year. Nobody did that. And Grayson Grinsell is just going out there and he's like, all right, I'll throw 6 innings and 4 runs. That's good compared to a lot of other teams.
It's solid.
It's very solid. College baseball is really hard to be a really good pitcher. And even Kevin Sider as the Sunday guy, he's just been he's been good enough. He's had high moments, he's had low moments, but he's just going to go out there and compete every single time and pitch old. And if he's on one day, he can really shut down a lineup. And that's what Oregon is going to be hoping for this entire weekend, is that their starting guys are on. They can go deep enough, 5, 6, 7 innings into games, and turn it over to the bullpen, like you mentioned, where they can give it to Bradley Mullen, Brock Moore, Logan Mercado, Michael Friend. Hopefully, have someone like Jackson Jordan back and running up this weekend. There's guys back there. There's opportunities, there's options, and there's just a lot of talent compared to where it was last season.
Yeah, I like where they're at. By the way, did you see Jacob Walsh's slash line from last week?
Yes.
That's one of the most disgusting things I have ever seen in the history of sports. That you can do that over a multiple game stretch. I'll pull it up real quick for those who might not have seen it. But Walsh, let's just say he's swinging a hot bat. Let me see. Here we go.
When he's on, he can carry a team.
His slash line was 706, 750. And 1647. So for those who are unaware of what exactly that entails, that's a batting average of 706 and a on-base plus slugging percentage of 1.647. And about 1,000 is a great OPS. And to have a 1647, like I think that you could very well look back at this series with Oregon State or the 4-game stretch and say the team that, won 3 or all 4 of the games, or, this game might have been decided on which star bat shows up the most. Because when Bazana or Walsh are in the zone, college arms are just not good enough to get these guys out.
Yeah. And that's the difference between like Oregon's pitching staff last year and this year. Like they can get some of those guys out where they just couldn't last year. I'm not saying they're going to get out Travis Bazana. I am more than ready for him to not get out a single time over the 4-game stretch that they play. But like you said at the beginning, I wouldn't throw him a strike. It's like, no, you can take your base.
I wouldn't.
I'm going to let somebody else do the damage. And there are plenty of dudes on that team who could do some damage, to be clear. But he's number one. He's number one, head and shoulders over everybody else. And I'm not sure what Oregon's going to do with him. I asked Mark Wazkowski about that. He said, well, nobody's figured out how to get him out this year. So we're going to try our best. It's like, all right.
The Barry Bonds approach, or I don't know if you follow college softball at all, but Jocelyn Alo, when she was slugging at Oklahoma, was literally,
I remember her.
Yeah, mathematically, it was a smart decision to walk her every time she stepped up to the plate because she had a better than 50% chance to either hit a double or a home run, which is insane. But that's just where some bats are at, and those two guys have been seeing the ball really, really well. Last thing for you here, Jared, and then we'll wrap up today's show. Bryce Betcher, is there a better defensive center fielder in baseball? Because I haven't seen one.
He's damn good. I think it's really incredible that Oregon went from Colby Shade last year, who was no slouch of his own in center field, to Bryce Betcher now. He makes a highlight reel play basically every game. If the ball is hit to center, and you feel pretty good about it being caught, unless it's like a no doubt home run. But yeah, he's great to watch. It's really fun. I have no idea how he covers that much ground at like 215, 220 pounds. It's thoroughly impressive. And he's just one of the best humans I know too. So great kid, great center fielder. And no, I haven't seen a better center fielder in baseball yet this year.
And he's been slugging too. Last year I think he didn't have as big of a role, but he's been hitting the ball very well. Of course, Jeffrey Hurd's been hitting this year for the Ducks too. Like they've just got a lot of hitters really, really up and down the lineup. And I believe Saturday's game against Oregon State is going to be on ESPN2, if memory serves, which will be awesome because it'll be the last hurrah in the Pac-12 for Oregon and Oregon State baseball, and they're both going to be in the top 25. The Beavs are inside the top 10. I think they're number 9 right now, and Oregon, depending on which poll you look at, I think is sitting at about 22nd. So should be an awesome series. I'm envious of you, Jared, that you get to cover it, but we appreciate you coming by here on the show today.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me. I always appreciate you, inviting me on, and I love coming on. So happy to do it whenever you need.
Awesome. All right, I'll talk to you soon. Appreciate everyone listening. I'll see you next time. Enjoy the spring game. Have a great weekend. And until next time, have a wonderful rest of your day. And go Ducks.